Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Weekly Co-Play. My name is Monica.
And my name is Daniel.
And we are a weekly podcast all about...
You guessed it.
Chunky soup.
Look, so we are recording for a second time, and the first time we recorded this, I went on about how much I wanted chunky potato soup. It is still true right now. I don't think there's ever a time when I don't want chunky potato soup, and I will reshare my grievance, which is that all prepackaged potato soups have bacon in them.
Yeah.
The bane of my existence.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's all.
Thanks for coming to our soup podcast. My name is Monica.
And my name is still Daniel. Okay. Also, we're recording this after hours, so you already know what's going to happen, all right?
Yeah.
All right, so this week, it is not co-play without a surprise music video. And we were talking about the All My Love director's cut music video, not to be confused with the lyric video, but also not to be confused with the actual music video that comes out, because this is the director's cut.
I was very confused. Okay, I will tell you what my thought process was. I forgot that the lyric video was not the music video.
Yeah.
So I thought somehow this was the director's cut of that other video.
I thought so too.
Like, they just took this director's cut in a radically separate direction. That's not at all connected to the video it's a director's cut of. But that's classic Coldplay.
Yeah.
And then I was like watching the Jimmy Kimmel interview, and they kept saying, "Oh, it'll come out on his birthday," and I was like, "It's not his birthday yet, and it's already out." Did they release it early?
On Dick Van Dyke's birthday.
Yes, Dick Van Dyke's birthday. It's about Dick Van Dyke. But yeah, no, there is a second shorter one cut. They did the long director's cut first. Second shorter one later. Which, imagine if we got the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League before the actual.
You know what? Yeah. This is a, surprise and bizarre drop, but not like bizarre as in bad, like bizarre as in, like, I really just wasn't expecting
no
this collab.
One would have called it.
Yeah.
It was on no bingo cards.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we got that to talk about, as well as the Jimmy Kimmel interview with Dick Van Dyke and Chris talking about this music video. And we also have a little bit of tour updates, kind of. I mean, the Jingle Bell Ball was this past Saturday. So, I mean, that was like a full concert. So we're going to talk about it, because why not? And yeah, tons of news this week. So we will, as I always say every week, we will get right into it. All right. So the All My Love director's cut video, it centers around Dick Van Dyke, who, if you're not aware of who Dick Van Dyke is, which I cannot imagine that you are, but
if you're confused, I'll tell you what my dad told me today.
Oh my God.
He was in Mary Poppins.
Yes, he played Bert in Mary Poppins. He was also he has been very famous, I think globally, but mostly here in America, for the Dick Van Dyke Show, and there's a bunch of other stuff. He's a very prolific actor.
He was in Diagnosis Murder, which came on in the time slot before Monk on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries every day of the week, Monday through Friday. So I would catch the very tail end of that as I was tuning in to my Monk episodes.
Yeah, and he is 98 years old as of right now, but on the 13th he will be 99 years old, and that's when we will get the not director's cut of
shorter
All My
version.
Love. Of the All My Love music video. But this music video kind of went through kind of Dick's achievements in his life, and it had all his family in it. And it was just really sweet, and I was tearing up while watching it, because I've looked up to this guy, since I was a young kid. My VHS rotation was pretty much, it was a Goofy movie, Mulan, Hercules, and then Mary Poppins was that was the
And the Little Mermaid.
yeah, and the Little Mermaid. And we had to even it up to 5.
I was crying while watching this video, and I don't even care about Dick Van Dyke that much. Not in a I don't care about him way, but just like I haven't seen Mary Poppins in over a decade.
Yeah.
Unlike
me.
Aside from Monica, who does it for me right now.
Yeah.
I've seen it. But the movie was important to me when I was really little, but I have no like clear memories of that.
Yeah.
And so I only remember certain specific plot points. I remember Saving Mr. Banks better than I remember Mary Poppins.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I think I've only seen Saving Mr. Banks once.
I've also only seen it once, but there's this one bit where they talk about the spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, and it's like a common thing in music to when you say a word like down or low. The big example I always think of is I've got friends in low places. I forgive the fact that I can't sing very well, especially not that low. I was just really out of key. But the melody goes along with the word. But for a spoonful of sugar in Saving Mr. Banks, they're like, oh, we'll do the opposite of that because she's someone who slides up the banister on the staircase. And that stuck with me as just very clever for a very long time. I still think about it all the
time. So this music video was directed by Spike Jonze and Mary Wigmore. Spike Jonze should ring a bell to you if you're a film fan, a cinephile like me. Most notable, her, at least like most recent notable, is her. Also, he was married to Sofia Coppola.
Was married, is no longer married.
Yes.
They have been divorced my entire life. I definitely did not think they were still married.
I stand by that. Actually, it's something that I haven't actually done yet. I've seen both movies, but I've not seen Lost in Translation and Her back to back, which is something I really want to do because that's like both their takes on their relationship.
Well, I've never seen either movie, so I can probably get the full experience right out the gate.
Well, I mean, I'm always down to rewatch Lost in Translation, and I guess I'll rewatch Her. I didn't like Her very much. But yeah, anyway, this is not a film podcast yet.
No, this is a podcast about Monica's crush on Sofia Coppola.
Yes, I love her, all right? That's my girl. It's my favorite Coppola. Anyway. But as we said, this music video was going, like, it was kind of like When Harry Met Sally in kind of a way, which Daniel doesn't know what I'm talking about, but hopefully you, possible cinephile listener, what I mean by that was in between, like, the actual, like, singing bits, there were, like, little interviews, with Dick, asking him, you know, what he thinks love is and stuff like that. And a quote from that is, love is a feeling of caring about the welfare and the life of the other person as much as you care for yourself. And then he also says, I think I'm one of those lucky people who got to do for a living what I would have done anyway. Which is also just really sweet.
And very Chris score. Like, it really reminds me of Chris's life. I can really see why those two would fit together. It's not a pairing I would have expected, but it makes sense.
Yeah. You know, I've mentioned this to Daniel, but whenever I was watching Dick dance, you know, and he has, like, a very specific movement, like, in the way that he dances. It reminded me a lot of the way Chris dances, like, especially, like, during Light Club and all that, but just, like, in general.
And I was saying, Chris has, like, idolized this man his whole life. He's seen Mary Poppins 5,000 or 6,000 times. I know you've seen it 7,000.
Yes.
But I feel like Chris has probably modeled his dance moves after Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, we'll have to ask Chris, or Chris Martin, if you're listening to this. I love you.
Don't start it like that.
No, I love him. No.
He's gonna stop listening before you ask the more relevant question.
No,
Hey,
Chris,
Chris, I hope you're okay.
Yeah, I hope you're okay, and I love you. And did you model your dancing after Dick Van Dyke a little bit? That's all.
He's not gonna listen to this. He's
No,
not
he
on
will.
the internet.
Please, Chris.
It makes him depressed.
Someone just clip this part. But I said I love him.
Yeah, but you also say you want to punch him half the time when we record these.
Punch him with my love. No, there's an asterisk with my love.
And your fist.
Of love. Please don't be scared, Chris. I love you. Actually, I should be the one that's scared. Actually, I'm terrified of you. No, don't ever meet me.
I wonder why our nighttime podcasts have this energy.
Because we're just waking up in the morning podcast for this one. It's like we went through the day. We're on the last bit of energy that we have. Yeah.
His whole family shows up for the music video. It has all of his kids and his grandkids and his wife Arlene. And when they all show up and get together, I started crying. That's what I wrote. It's a little disingenuous because it implies that I wasn't already crying. I had been crying. I'd calmed down a little. I started crying once again.
Yeah.
I'm a very emotional person. But I don't even know a lot about Dick Van Dyke, but just seeing this man who has lived for almost 99 years and done the things he loved for a living and has such a large family and so many people he loves surrounding him made me really emotional.
Yeah, it was just a sweet video overall. At the very end of the video, Chris improvised a song for Dick Van Dyke about old age, and the first half is about Dick jokes, not about his name Dick, but the actual...
Yeah, imagine Nonsense by Sabrina Carpenter. That's the vibe you're getting out of Chris's Dick joke song.
Yeah, but Dick Van Dyke, he really loved it. Even sang along to a bit of it. And then the second half was more serious, and, Dick was just in shock and awe that Chris could just come up with a song on the spot and a whole song.
He started yelling out, "We got that on film, right? Can you believe this, man?" It was really, really sweet.
Yes.
There's a very specific moment I think of where I don't remember the exact line, but it's right after the Dick joke bit. It's one of the first serious lines, and Dick Van Dyke's whole face just morphs into a speechless wonder.
Yeah.
Which was very, very cool.
Yeah, that's also me when I hear Chris on the piano or do anything. It's just always speechless wonder.
Like when he plays the saxophone or the trumpet.
But yeah, that was the All My Love director's cut music video. And the shorter version will be released on December 13th on Dick Van Dyke's 99th birthday. I still cannot believe that he is that old.
My dad, when I told him they did a video with Dick Van Dyke, my dad was like, "Man, I can't believe he's still alive. He's what, 102?" And I was like, "No, he's 99 almost." But yeah, that is very impressive. And he's still so... he seems so healthy still.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he was dancing, he was getting up, he was moving around. He hasn't lost a step at all.
He was able to, go do the Jimmy Kimmel interview.
Yeah.
When I'm 99, do not expect any of that from me.
Yeah. I would just be... The only thing that I'll probably have in common with Dick Van Dyke when I'm 99, other than the age, is I would still probably be in shock and awe of Chris Martin.
If I make it to 99, I only want to be spoon-fed soup and to listen to Chris Martin improvise songs on the piano. The Jimmy Kimmel interview they did a little bit before this director's cut music video released. They had Chris Martin and Dick Van Dyke come on the Jimmy Kimmel show to talk about the video. And they talked a little bit about how the pairing first got together, and Dick Van Dyke said he'd never heard of Coldplay or Chris Martin before. And they said, Chris Martin called. I said, who? And then a little bit later, Chris was like, yeah, I didn't know who Dick Van Dyke was. I just said, I've been looking for an old guy who's the oldest guy.
Chris and Dick, they live 8 miles apart, and a few years ago, Chris invited him over for breakfast with him and his kids, and he came and he brought his wife, and yeah, and that's how, like, this beautiful friendship flourished.
Yeah, and then Dick Van Dyke started listening to Coldplay.
Yeah.
They asked Chris what his favorite song from Mary Poppins was. He said, I love the whole thing front to back.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, this morning, because we are re-recording this, whenever we recorded this the first time, Daniel asked me that same question, and I couldn't remember the specific song that I was thinking of, because I said supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, which is true, but my actual favorite song in all of Mary Poppins is Jolly Holiday. I love that song.
I don't remember that song.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday. Well, Mary is...
Monica has suspenders right now. Not in real life, but she somehow manifested them, and I saw them appear on her body.
Yeah. I love that song. It's a song with the penguins and they all dance.
Yeah, I remember there being penguins.
Oh my God, we need to watch Mary Poppins. I love Jolly Holiday.
I was talking about how I had like a strong emotional connection to Step in Time. I love that song too. I'll tell this story again. Monica's now already heard it, but when I was in preschool, they were split between if your parents opted you into nap time or opted you in to get a recess period. And my parents had opted me into nap time. So every day, while half of my class got to go have a fun recess, I had to go lay down. I had to go eat, not Lunchables, but the other prepackaged meal, the kind you have to microwave first. Do you know what I'm talking about? And there's like pudding with little colorful stars that go on the pudding.
The one with the penguin on it?
Yeah.
Kids cuisine?
Yes. So I would have a kids cuisine and then have to lay down on a mat in a dark room every single day.
Oh God, that's the dream.
Now that's the dream. I did not enjoy it when I was in preschool. I hated nap time my entire childhood. Now I only want nap time. But one day, I had a doctor's appointment, and when I came back, it was right in the middle of that nap time / recess period, and they were like, well, it would be a waste to go to nap time, so you can just join the recess kids. And that was my first time getting to see what that recess was like, and I remember I was filled with such an intense and brand new emotion, and I thought to myself, I don't know the word for this feeling I'm having right now. It must be supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I figured it out. This is what that word means. This is it. And for a few years, I was convinced that was the actual meaning of supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
It is. I still think that it's a feeling that you can't describe other than pure euphoria. So yeah, you felt supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Can you spell?
Yes, I can. supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Yeah, I can spell it because when I was like really into the spelling bee, kids would always be like, "Oh, you like spelling? Spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious." Yeah. So I learned it. That one is actually a really easy word for me. I don't have to memorize how it's spelled because it's spelled how it sounds. Yeah. So I'll go through it in my head whenever I'm spelling it.
Same. I just learned it because I like that song a lot. And I love Mary Poppins.
Dick said he met grandkids he had never met before while filming the music video, which, hilarious if true. So, there was this really sweet bit in the music video where Dick Van Dyke's son comes up to Dick and asks him if he can turn on the pool slide. Yeah. It's this very quintessential father-son moment, except the father is 99 and the son is 76. And Chris was talking about how funny this was when their collective age is 103. Or no, the son is 74. And he talked about how funny it is when their collective age is 176, which is incorrect. It would be 173, and Chris can't do addition. And I think maybe he was thinking of the other son who's 77, but he had just said the number 99 and the number 74, and then he said 106, which is not what those two numbers add up to.
Can you tell that Daniel's the math guy?
That's what I'm here for.
When Dick was talking about, how old he was or was going to be, I guess everybody was talking about how old he was going to be. Dick goes, I'm old enough to be Joe Biden's father.
It was when he was talking about how old his sons were. When he mentioned, so Jimmy went, oh, you have a son who's 74. And he was like, well, I have another son who's 77. I'm old enough to be Joe Biden's father.
When Dick had first arrived to Jimmy Kimmel, before the show recorded, obviously, they were in the hall, and Jimmy goes, hey, how are you doing? To Dick, and Dick goes, very old.
Such a mood.
Yeah.
There was a minute where Dick Van Dyke was saying, oh, I get dementia every once in a while. Like right now, I think I'm on the Jimmy Kimmel show. And Jimmy said that happens to him all the time.
And Chris said, this may be the most fun thing I've ever done. Which is just really sweet. Another thing that Chris did while at the music video shoot was that Chris had played ragtime for Dick. And, Dick Van Dyke was like, how do you know how to play ragtime? And Chris just goes, I'm a professional musician.
I have wanted to learn how to play ragtime for 10 years.
Yeah, well, you can learn from Chris, the professional musician.
Hey, Chris, will you come give me ragtime lessons, please?
Yeah. Also, I love you.
If you teach me how to play ragtime, what I will do with this skill is go into Meow Wolf and play ragtime. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's our headliner. Now on to other news.
Let's get right into it.
One World features a sample from Root to Leaf by John Metcalf.
Coldplay is an official supporter of the Conservation Collective, which that was actually posted last week and we'd missed it. So just a shout out to Coldplay for making efforts to help protect endangered species.
Coldplay will have a pre-recorded performance from Australia for the Billboard Music Awards. Daniel's convinced that they're going to fly back to Australia.
I'm not convinced. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
No, you're 100% convinced.
We don't need to assume it's pre-recorded. They never said.
Except that I've literally seen videos of it being pre-recorded.
That could have been for something else.
No.
Look.
It's pre-recorded. It's going to be All My Love that they're going to perform, by the way.
It could have been something else. I'm just saying we shouldn't count out the possibility that they fly back to Australia to then zoom in to the Billboard Music Awards. Coldplay's Spotify Wrapped came out along with all the rest of ours. They had 249 million listeners, 5.56 billion streams, 357 million hours, and 184 countries, and most of that was in fact Monica.
Yes.
They were also the most streamed UK group on Spotify this year. I wonder if you, dear listener, can guess who both Monica and I's favorite artist was.
Top artist.
Yeah, sorry, Coldplay is not my favorite artist.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. Not me, though.
Yeah.
Well, listen, while we're talking about Spotify Wrapped, I will tell you my stats. Obviously, Coldplay was my top artist this year. My longest listening streak for Coldplay was 65 days. Yeah.
Which is wild. My longest listening streak was 14 days for Coldplay.
And then I am in the top 0.005% of fans, and I spent 18,240 minutes together with this stupid little band.
Well, if you count all of your brain, I think you spent 525,600 minutes.
Oh
with
my
them.
Goodness, sick rent reference.
Well, I was thinking of it because I saw someone post that if you time your watching of Wicked Part 1 and Wicked Part 2 exactly right, the intermission can be 525,600 minutes long.
Oh my god. My top song this year was "Feels Like I'm Falling in Love" by Coldplay. I was in the 0.001% of listeners globally, and I listened to that song 150 times.
I only listened to it 94 times.
Yeah. Top songs: "Feels Like Falling in Love," "I Am a Mountain," "We Pray," and then "Feather" by Sabrina Carpenter, and "Raining in Manila" by Lola Moore.
You know, Fliffle was my only Moon music song that made it onto my top 5.
Really?
Yeah, because if you remember, the others were like Yellow and
Yeah.
Shiver and In My Place, I think. I listened to In My Place a lot.
Well, I mean, you know, if I get new Coldplay content, that's all I'm going.
I will say, I think a
to.
decent amount of your listens of Moon music should also be counted as mine, because
Yes,
I
that's
was
true.
sitting in the
In the
car
car,
with
yeah.
you, and we listened to it like 3 times in one day.
That's true. Well, that was more than 3 times.
Yeah, we were
We were driving around. We had the whole. I mean, listener, if you listen to our Moon music episode, you would know that we spent an entire day on a whole mission, a whole Moon mission, picking up this album
and just listening to it over and over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I did listen to it on loop for a while on our flights to and from New York, but I will say I did also eventually switch to another playlist.
Not me. I was passed out listening to Full Moon.
I was passed out listening to Full Moon. It was in my dreams.
In your head? Always in your
my
head?
Yeah. All I can think about is... man, that whole New York trip feels like a fever dream. We were on so little sleep.
It was. Along with Coldplay being our top artist this year, there was a Spotify artist video with Coldplay just being like, "Hey, thank you for listening to us. I hope you're doing okay, and I hope you get to see us next year. Or I hope we get to see you."
It was like,
year.
yeah, I hope somehow we see you next.
Yeah.
I hope somehow we see each other next year.
Which we will.
Some magical, unknown way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you really, really want to see it for yourself, Coldplay Extra posted it.
Yeah. Fliffle has been ranked among the best songs of 2024 by 3 sources, and not one of them being my Spotify Wrapped. That's the 4th source, actually. This is Dig puts it at number 27, Apple Music puts it at number 31, and Amazon Music puts it at number 33. And Coldplay were the 3rd most popular musicians of 2024 on TikTok UK. They were the only group in the top 10. Yeah. And I think that has to go with, like, how popular they've been, like, with their concert, and, with their tour being a million years long. Everybody going to go see them. Everybody recording Sky Full of Stars. And, of course, with, like, Sparks really taking off on TikTok. Like, that's, like, a big thing. That's, like, super popular right now is Sparks.
Yeah, when we talked about this yesterday, I talked about my unpopular opinion being that I think that while it is a very cool big production moment, A Sky Full of Stars is to me one of the most boring parts of a Coldplay show. And then Monica said, once I see a Coldplay show...
Yeah, a big one. Because we did listen to Sky Full of Stars.
Right.
But, that's not without the lights or the wristbands and the fireworks and Chris stopping it. And,
yeah, Monica says I'll be changing my tune.
Yes.
So... Come June,
Yeah.
we'll give you an update on how I felt about A Sky Full of Stars.
It's going to be so much fun, Daniel. I
what
promise
if I
you.
still don't like it?
Well, then, I guess I'm going to sell your other ticket to Wisconsin.
Well, no. Because I don't like A Sky Full of Stars.
Yes.
But I love the rest of the show.
Yep.
Billboard released their greatest pop stars of the 21st century series, highlighting, as it mentioned, the greatest pop stars of the 21st century. So far, the 21st century isn't even halfway over, but I guess they decided we're calling it here. We're not making it any farther. Take a look around. This is it. Coldplay was completely snubbed, but 32% of the included acts have praised Coldplay, and Coldplay were mentioned in 24% of the essays for the series. So, Coldplay's ubiquitous. Everyone loves them.
Yeah.
That includes Beyonce,
Miley Cyrus,
Ed Sheeran,
SZA, I think. Yeah.
You said SZA yesterday. So I'm still assuming SZA's correct.
Well, I didn't even I forgot what the list was yesterday. I was just
Oh.
kind of going up top the dome. So
Oh, okay.
I was going off the dome again.
I don't know who SZA is, but
Yes, you do. I don't kill my ex.
oh, okay, yeah, I love. Okay, yeah, I was spelling it wrong in my head just now, and so it wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah, because I've only seen SZA written down.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to pronounce it.
Okay.
So what you were saying, I was spelling different in my head, and they weren't being correlated. Anyway.
Now you know her.
Yes. Kill Bill. I had the song from Nuts.
What? I'm sorry. This is what you get after hours.
The first time I heard Kill Bill, it was playing in Ugly Donuts.
Ugh, nuts. I heard nuts, and I'm like, what? This is a place, by the way. Anyway, Chris Martin was on the Graham Norton show, along with the rest of the band. They played All My Love, and Chris was on the little couch with Sigourney Weaver and Jamie Oliver and Nicholas Hoult.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does the naked chef refer to the food being like a sensualist and simplistic food, or is he naked while he cooks?
Why not both? Huh?
No, but genuinely.
No. Why not both?
But do you know the answer?
It's both, Daniel.
Is it actually
No.
both?
It's the first one.
Okay, so he's not naked while he
No,
cooks.
he could be. Okay, I actually don't know. I'm not in his house while he's cooking. All right, he could be naked. He could be.
I could just imagine like a lifestyle book advocating for more people to cook naked. That was a genuine question. I've been wondering this since the Loose Women video.
No, this is about naked chefs and loose women. We'll get to that later.
I'm seeing spots.
Chris, whenever he first sat down, he said that he ate soup and it was chunky, which is a reference
He's
to
living my dream.
I think that because we only watched the Coldplay bits of the interview, but I think Sigourney was talking about something. There was a previous conversation about first jobs and everything, because Chris mentioned how one of his first songs that he had written was like for a commercial in Nigeria, or what was it?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't think it was Nigeria.
No, I don't think it was either. Once I said it, I was like, that's not right.
Was it in Asia? No,
No,
Zimbabwe?
Yeah, it was in Africa. I remember that.
Okay, I think Zimbabwe is right.
Yes.
Also, Monica is just trying to crush my dreams right now.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, because his lifelong dream is to have Chris Martin eat chunky soup.
Yes.
So serious about that. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Chris, however, during that interview, he did admit to finally being Nigel, and said that, Chris said that he dressed up in Las Vegas and that character was his inner loser.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's him finally saying that he was Nigel.
Chris continued to insist there will only be 12 albums, and then they are done. But this time Johnny did seem more unsure, and he did say, well, the last 10 albums have all been our last album. And Chris was like, no, it's for real. And he was like, okay, sure, whatever you say. I'm torn. I don't know if it's for real or not. I am leaning towards thinking Chris is serious about this one.
I think the band's serious. I don't like saying it, but
I think they're going to do 12 albums and say, all right, Coldplay's all done. And then the 4 of them will just, like, as Los Unidades or something, keep coming out with albums.
Yeah, it's like, we are no longer Coldplay. But we are the Nappies.
Is there a band name now?
Yeah. Or Los Unidades, or
Starfish.
Or Starfish.
Pectorals with a Z.
Yeah. You see, I am gonna bring a Here for Starfish, like, sign.
I'll bring it here for pectorals.
No, but we have to meet Phil if you're gonna have that sign.
I am still so bummed. I just barely missed getting the chance to say hi to him in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. No, we'll see him. I'm still shocked that I even saw him. So
yeah.
Now I know he's real.
I don't know he's real.
Also, during the interview, Chris had told this little story about this guy. He went to one of like Coldplay shows, and his name is Sam. And Sam and Chris, they went to school, and Sam was like, "Hey, can I get backstage passes because I went to school with Chris." And Chris, when he caught wind of this, he was like, oh no, like this guy, whenever he was like 15 years old in school, Sam had booed him off the stage. And so the entire time while Chris was, doing his job and performing and all that, Chris was like worried the entire time that he was going to get booed by this one person in the stadium full of people there to see him. But thankfully that did not happen. And, Chris and the guy, they seem to be fine. I can only assume that they're cool now.
I don't know if Chris and him actually talked. All I know is Chris did give him the backstage passes.
Yeah. You can imagine, here's some backstage passes. I'm not talking to you.
Well,
Leave me
people
alone.
go backstage that don't meet the band.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how backstage passes work,
Well, I learned a little about it from that discussion about the guy from the Australian radio show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he was like backstage, but just mingling in like a VIP area. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I think it is possible to get a backstage pass and not meet the band. Mm-hmm. I think that's like a one tier higher up.
Oh, well, I want to meet the band tier. Hello, hi, if you're listening. We really would like to meet Coldplay.
And she promises she won't throw up.
Next! Chris and Jamie Oliver, I guess they were just hanging out. They both crashed the Loose Women Talkathon.
The 24-hour Loose Women Talkathon.
Yep. And Chris gave some mental health advice. He said to spend 12 minutes every day writing down everything that's upsetting you, and then by the end of that 12 minutes, just destroy the paper, throw it away, burn it, whatever. Just make sure it's, destroyed and it's out of your system. And anything that you may have forgotten or didn't write down, you could address it calmly. After that 12 minutes. So I thought that's really sweet. Whenever we recorded this yesterday, I said I was going to try it for a week. I forgot to do it this morning.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to do it. Well, he didn't say what time of day. We can do it tonight.
Yeah. No, I want it to be the morning. Whenever I wake up.
Oh, see, I wanted to...
Because I think Chris said whenever he woke up.
He just said 12 minutes a day. And then someone else was saying they do it at night to cover everything that's happened throughout the day that upset them. And then they tear it up in the morning. Oh,
then maybe I'll try it tonight. I don't know.
Maybe I will. We'll see. I feel like it will be bad for me.
Mm-hmm. But then, you just crush it and then release it.
We'll see. I'll give it a shot. I do feel like this will be worse for my mental health.
Oh.
But yeah, also, this is slightly unrelated. I don't know who any of these other people were on the Loose Women Talkathon, and I don't mean this as a criticism in any way. I would never criticize someone for the way they mispronounce a word, except for one specific person who I know in real life, and I would criticize for the way he mispronounces words. But anyway, there was someone who kept pronouncing Tumblr as Tumboler, and I can't stop thinking about Tumboler, and she said it like 5 times.
That's funny. Coplay Extra. Last week we talked about their Instagram giveaway. Someone had already won that one. So congratulations to them. But there's still a giveaway on TikTok, on Twitter, and on YouTube. Twitter, you just have to go to their page and retweet the tweet. But the other two, you do have to tag somebody, so be sure you know someone to tag.
Chris and Johnny will be playing a special show for Crisis UK, which is a nationwide charity that helps to tackle the homelessness crisis in the United Kingdom on December 10th. Tickets were only available through a prize draw, which was open until noon GMT today, December 9th, the day we're recording. So if you won, congratulations, and I hope you enjoyed the wedding. Make sure you bring a gift. I don't know if they have a registry up anywhere.
Yeah.
They're performing in a church, and the little poster looks so much like a wedding invitation, is where this joke comes from. Also, just the way Chris and Johnny are.
Yeah. I saw, because they had tweeted out today, I saw that I think it was 175,000 people had entered in for tickets for this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, congrats if you were able to get in.
How many people won? Like, how many?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Because I don't think that they've sent out the things yet. Maybe they have. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they have.
Yeah, but that's the news.
That's the news.
Now on to tour updates. As we said, Coldplay did the Jingle Bell Ball on Saturday in the O2 Arena in London for Capital Radio. And it was like this, I wouldn't say it was a small show because they didn't fill up the O2 Arena, but it was a full arena. And we're just going to go through the set list here. They played Higher Power, Adventure of a Lifetime, Paradise. Seems pretty regular for a Coldplay concert. And then they switched it up. And they went to Viva La Vida, and then We Pray, Yellow, but it was only on the piano. Feels Like Falling in Love, A Sky Full of Stars, No Stop, and Christmas Lights as the last song. And then also whenever we were watching the live stream, and on Chris's shirt, okay, on the front obviously he has the love button, but on his shoulder there's like this silver button thing.
To me, it looks like a wax seal on an envelope.
Yeah, we don't know what it is. If you know what it is, let us know. But we were just very curious about it. And also during Christmas lights, it was very cute. Little confetti was like kind of going down, trickling down.
Also, at the start of Christmas Lights, Chris sat down at the piano to start playing.
And
someone said something to me and was like, "Oh yeah, I was gonna sing a Christmas song for you guys, but the piano plays itself. Everyone watch this. This is very cool." Sorry, I keep doing like a stupid bad Chris Martin impression. It's like instinct, and then I realize this has got to be like the worst Chris Martin impression.
But as I was saying, the confetti was going down, and it looked like snow, and it was very cute.
I know. I was really wonderstruck by it.
Mm-hmm. And that's tour updates.
We've now reached the portion of the show where, since we have no sponsors, we make no money off of this. Instead, we choose to highlight a different charity every month. It is now the start, our very first week, introducing a new charity for the month of December. This week, we are highlighting an organization called 350. They're at 350.org, which we will have linked in our description. 350 is a movement of ordinary people working to build a world powered by clean, accessible, and affordable renewable energy. The name 350 is the parts per million concentration of carbon dioxide that is considered the safe limit to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. Right now, we are currently at 423 parts per million, and it is on an upward trend. 350 has a radical vision for the future. First, they envision a future where people have the tools and the training to build a better future themselves, and they know how to make that happen. They envision a future where communities are resilient, where communities produce, consume, and own their own renewable energy, which creates jobs and increases security for those communities. They envision a future where governments prioritize policies that reduce emissions and support the transition to clean, renewable energy. They envision a future where renewable energy becomes the dominant source of power, leading to cleaner, more accessible, and cheaper for the consumer energy. And they envision a future where fossil fuels are left in the ground. How can we do it? They have a twofold plan. A, resist fossil fuel projects and the supporters of those projects. And B, advocate for a world powered by the sun, wind, and people. They are a very cool organization that are made up of regular people, just like you or me, who decided to put their foot down and say, we will not stand for this. We know the solutions. We can see how to get there. It is corporations, it is greed that is preventing us from getting there. And the only thing that can be done is to stand up against that together and fight it. If you are interested in making a donation or getting involved with them, you can find more information on their website, and I will be sharing more information about this organization throughout the month.
Thank you, Daniel. Again, that is at 350.org, which will be, again, linked in the description. And that is it for this week's episode. No spoilers, no speculation, no nothing. Next week, we'll talk about the other All My Love music video, as well as the I'm a Mountain Discord fan video that we took part of.
I guess we could have added that to this week. Well, we already had such a long headliner this week.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got that to look forward to next week. All this Coldplay content just still coming out. As well as, I know I mentioned it, but it's been super busy. We work retail. It's the holiday season. You put the...
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. You do the math. But I had mentioned that I was going to do like a Google form if you wanted to, say something about your experience at a Coldplay concert this year, because we wanted to do a tour retrospective for the end of the year, especially since their last show, I guess, Capitol Jingle Bell Ball, their last show had officially ended. Well, okay, we also have the Johnny and Chris thing, but,
Their last full band show.
Yes. But if you want to share your experiences, I will have a Google form out. It will be tweeted out, as well as on Instagram, as well as shared on Discord. And yeah, that's really it. So I will do it. I'm holding myself accountable. Hopefully I'll remember, because this month is just super crazy. There's so much going on. But yeah, that's really it. We will see you guys next week. Thank you for listening. My name is Monica.
My name is still Daniel.
And we are Weekly Coldplay. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Weekly Coldplay. For more Coldplay content from us, check us out on Twitter at Weekly Coldplay and Instagram at weekly.coldplay. That is weekly, Coldplay. And if you like what you hear, give us a follow on wherever you're listening to the podcast on. Thank you again, and we'll be back next week with more Coldplay news.